So we have been talking about how to solve equations for the past couple of days, a system of equations. So today is going to be, when you're given a word problem, how do you write the equation? Then tomorrow we will solve the equations or the systems. Okay, so today is the focus of writing. So let's look at our problems. So we have this graphic organizer. This says variables, this says equations, this says solve, and then explanation. Explanation means your answer in words. We are going to focus on these two today, variables and equations. So let's look at the first one. Joey has a handful of dimes and quarters. There are 22 coins in all. The value of the coins is $3.55. How many dimes does he have? Quarters? Question mark. So let's underline or highlight the important information. So what does he have? Dimes and quarters. How many does he have? 22 coins in all. How much does he have? $3.55. So we're asked, how many dimes? How many quarters? So in the question, they tell you what you're going to solve for. So those will be your variables. So if it says how many dimes does he have, how many quarters, we're going to use obvious letters for this. So obvious means it's going to be undeniable. We're not going to use X and Y. I mean, you can, but obvious would be D for dimes, Q for quarters. And we're talking about how many of each. So D is going to be my dimes. Q is going to be my quarters. So our equations are going to come from the words. It says there are 22 coins in all. So if it says 22 coins in all, dimes and quarters adds up to equal 22. That's our how many. So we need to write it as an equation. How do you add up to 22 with these variables? It would be an addition problem. Dimes plus quarters is 22. It's not money, so we don't attach money to those variables. It's just plain dimes plus quarters is 22. So that's the how many. So the other equation is going to be how much. So I'm going to write that here. Equation 1, how many because that's the 22. That's the how many. Equation 2 is going to be how much. So we've got to attach money to the how much part. How much is a dime worth? 10 cents. So we've got to attach 10 cents to it. I'm going to put 0.10. Quarters. How much is that worth? 25 cents. So 0.25. So when we write our how much equation, we're going to attach the money to it. So 10 cents times how many you have. So let's say you have 5 dimes, then it's 5 times the 10 cents. But we don't know how many dimes we have. So we're going to just attach the money to it. When you deal with money, make sure you do 2 decimal places. So 0.10 dimes plus we need quarters, 5 quarters equals 355. So something you want to pay attention to is, just like with systems when we were doing our matrix, our variables should line up in columns. See how both of those are dimes and both of these are quarters? And then it says equal a number, just like equal C. That's all you have to do today. You're just identifying your variable, writing your equation. All right, let's go to the next one. A group of friends goes out for lunch. If 2 order hot dogs and 4 order hamburgers, the bill would be $23.50. If 5 have hot dogs and only 1 has a hamburger, the bill will be $18.25. What is the cost of a hot dog? Hamburger? Question mark. So from the question at the very end, that's going to give us our variables. So we want to know the cost of a hot dog and the cost of a hamburger. What variables should we use? Because they both start with H. It's up to us to find that out. Y'all decide. What do y'all think? What should we use for hot dogs? D for dog? Okay. So D is the hot dog. And it's cost of a hot dog, right? And then what should we use for the other one? We could use H, or what about B for burger? Or we can use H. Honestly, it doesn't matter. All right, so now we need to come up with our 2 equations. So let's read back through this and highlight. A group of friends goes out for lunch. Don't need to highlight anything there. If 2 order hot dogs and 4 order hamburgers, the bill is $23.50. So why don't we highlight the number with what they ordered. So 2 is hot dogs. 2 ordered hot dogs. 4 ordered burgers. And the bill was $23.50. Let's go ahead and write an equation from that. How do we represent 2 hot dogs? What should we write? 2D, right? And what about the 4 hamburgers? Yep, plus 4B. What does it come out to equal? $23.50. Okay, the next one. So that's our first equation. So equation 1 was order 1. It was the first order. It says if 2 order this. So let's do equation 2 for order number 2. So we'll highlight that next sentence. So 5 hot dogs, 1 hamburger. The bill is $18.25. So let's see. 5 hot dogs. So 5 dogs plus 1 burger equals $18.25. And it worked out where our variables were already lined up in the word problem, so it worked out pretty good. All right, and we're done. We're just writing the equations. Okay, the last example. Customer paid a total of $6 for 68 copies at a print shop. Some of the copies were black and white, and the rest were color copies. Each black and white copy cost 0.088 cents. Each color copy cost 15 cents. How many black and white copies, B, and color copies, C, did they get? Add your little question mark at the end. So from our question, we're going to figure out what our variables are going to be. I'm going to highlight the variables of what they're asking for. How many black and white copies? How many color copies? In this one, they gave us a variable. We don't have to come up with it, but it's obvious, right? B for black and white, C for color. And then C for color copies. So now we need to come up with an equation. Two equations. So let's see. The customer paid a total of $6 for 68 copies. So remember so we don't have orders. So we can't do order 1 as an equation, order 2 as an equation. But we do have this. Equation 1, how many? Equation 2, how much? So we're going to use that as our way of writing our equation. So go ahead and write here. Equation 1 is how many. How many copies did they get? It was 68. So we can write our first equation about how many copies. And then, so let's go ahead and write that. Just like the last one, we said dimes plus quarters gives us 22 copies, or 22 coins. This one's going to be black and white copies. Color copies gives us 68 copies. So that's the how many equation. The how many equation is equation 1. So it's going to be black and white copies plus color copies gives us 68. That's our how many equation. So then equation 2 is going to be the how much equation. So that's talking about the money. So we have a quantity equation and a cost or total. So this is where we attach money to it. So all the money goes in the same equation. Did you hear me say that? All the money goes in the same equation. Don't mix and match quantity with money on this, because we have black and white is 8 cents, color is 15 cents. So highlight those. So we're going to write a how much equation where we're talking about money. So see how B is first? So let's put B first, but attach the money to it. So it's 0.08 B plus B, color copies is 15 cents, so 0.15 C. And we have a total of $6. So on your assignment today, you're going to be given equations, and you're going to write the variable and write the equation. That's it. Make sure to leave room, though, because tomorrow we're going to solve them.